Hi, Kapun Piso here, exposing where life after death came from 5,000 years ago in Egypt. God doesn't exist.
Falcon God, Hierakonpolis is the name of the city.
A warrior in life. In death, he'll face a battle to end all battles. His soul takes flight, and his life on earth is finished.
Represented by a bird. The sun was the giver of life. You can see those rays in there? Well, the ancient people believed they were very similar to the horns of animals and beasts, of goats and everything. And those rays also represents the penis. And that is the reason they created the obelisk and the pyramids. They were old monuments to the sun, and they created a triangle. You see the triangle there? Well, that is the reason it was a triangle was a sacred symbol. It also it was similar to the lady's vagina, the cave of creation.
From the ancient Egyptians, their vision of death required an arduous journey, a struggle. Their only guide, collections of powerful spells called the Books of the Dead.
It's like the Bible, Quran, and Talmud originated from.
And track modern archaeologists as they unearth key finds that will take us down deep into the Egyptian underworld, through the ancient Egyptian version of hell.
There's no such thing as heaven, like...
To succeed, said he will need a detailed guide through a terrifying realm.
Exactly. The dead.
His guide, called the Book of Gates, is on the walls of Seti's tomb.
It was imperative to be buried with a copy of this Bible to actually guide you through the underworld. It was also painted in tombs.
He's met in the underworld by a cordon of dead souls. Ra, the ram-headed god of the sun.
Exactly, because the Pharaoh was gods on earth.
Few understand this transformation better than archaeologist Dr. Zahi Hawass.
With the sun as one person, and therefore
exactly.
The battle of the sun god for the netherworld, it is the battle of the Pharaoh.
All the leaders and kings were sons of God.
For the ancient Egyptians, the sun was the holy of holies.
That's right.
They thought it literally died in the west each evening, and they prayed it would rise again in the east the next morning.
And they called the dead people the Westerners.
The journey through death.
5,000 years ago, sunset. What was it? What was the sun? Mysterious object in the sky that gives life. It was equated with the penis. It was equated with the horns of animals. It was equated with wings. It was equated with the spirit world because it floated in the air, in the spirit world. And the ancients didn't know that. It was a big mystery to them. Today we know. We know the sun is our life-giving star.
Four paralleled the path the sun took every night. Tonight, he must pass through 12 gates, one for each hour of the night.
Yep, 12 months.
But it's no cruise down the Nile. Each gate is guarded by writhing serpents.
Their job is to guard the gates against anyone who is not pure enough or who does not have the right magical strength to pass from one level to the next.
King Eternal Life needed a pure spirit, but they also needed magical knowledge.
Right.
Seti cannot pass through the gates unless he knows and speaks the secret name of the snakes that guard them.
If the king will say the name, it shows in the mind of the ancient Egyptian that he is the right one to go. He is the pure one. He is the magical one. They write it so carefully in the text.
Yeah, everything has to be precise.
He was supposed to learn the names by reading them on the walls of his tomb. And now, his journey depends on it. When he utters the name, they retreat. He wouldn't dream of leaving their great Pharaoh to fight this battle on his own.
Other gods, like an army, will come to defeat Apophis for City and the Sun God to go safely to the other world.
Protected from the demon, he makes his way to perhaps the most important moment of the night. He died, said his soul left his body. Now his soul returns, recognizes his body, and reunites with him.
That's right. It is. It burns. Spirit entering the body.
He's joined by other mummies, eager to bask in the glow of the sun god. Seti again calls on an army of gods, next to gather strength from the sun god's power.
They are the angels. They will become the angels of the
Together, they keep the demon back.
Of the Christian mythology.
At the moment just before dawn, order and light have finally defeated the demon of chaos.
Yeah. That's what Christians get their myth from. And the Jews and the Muslims.
In the hour, Seti nears his goal in triumph.
These beliefs of life after death were adopted by Hellenism and then by the great Roman Empire. See the transformation eventually leading to Christianity.
We're quite conscientious about continuing to support traditional religion. And so in temples all over Egypt, you get Roman emperors depicted in purely traditional Egyptian style, as if they were pharaohs.
Although these temples were primarily Egyptian in style, a few telltale designs do reveal the foreign Greco-Roman influence. This ceiling, from the temple of Hathor at Dendera, is decorated with both pharaonic deities, like the hippo-shaped goddess Taweret, and Greco-Roman zodiac figures, such as Scorpio and Taurus. And Greco-Roman traditions can also be seen in this temple at Esna, dedicated to Khnum, the ram-headed god of the Nile. Inside, the walls and columns are inscribed with traditional offering scenes. However, the gift being offered to the god is a laurel wreath, prized in the Greco-Roman world, but unheard of in pharaonic Egypt.
Yeah. Romans adopted the divine emperors.
The priests were Egyptian.
Exactly.
They were able to meet the religious needs of the local populace while attracting the spiritually curious from across the Greco-Roman world.
Yeah, and they went to Rome itself, and they would practice
the priests
Egyptian religion.
had a sense of a new market, not just the local environment, not just people concerned with fertility and people concerned with health, but also Roman youths concerned with gaining some kind of
Eventually, the fame of Egypt's sacred places brought unwelcome scrutiny from
That's Trajan right there.
temples that offered oracles, like the cult of the fertility god Bes at Abydos, were seen as political threats by some emperors.
In 199 AD, Septimius Severus issued a decree against Egyptian oracles, claiming these to be a form of superstition.
Exactly.
This drove the practice of consulting images of the gods for oracular purposes underground.
The Christian period became increasingly constricting on Egyptian building, Egyptian temples, on the maintenance of the infrastructure of Egyptian religion.
What this man fails to tell you is that thanks to Christianity in the 4th century, they start destroying all the Egyptian religion and getting all the Egyptian religion and getting
rulers. Egypt's temples were unable to serve the people. After some 3,000 years, time was finally running out for pharaonic religion.
Yeah, religion changes, and then the Christians destroy everything up.
Soon give birth to a new form of sacred space.
Mutated.
The monasteries of the Coptic Church.
Yeah,
Egypt's native brand of Christianity.
Exactly.
Egypt's Pharaohs was already 3,000 years old. Egyptian temples had been the very heart of these ancient beliefs, and it was here that the early Christians first staked their claim as Egypt's new faith.
From the son of God, pharaohs like Akhenaten, then came Alexander the Great, the god, then Julius Caesar and the son of God Augustus, and the mutation of Jesus Christ touched the orb.